There are some leaked details that have come out thanks to Arc System Works. Here's this article I saw. It basically confirms that the Switch 2 only has one physical cartridge size, which was what I said in my video a few weeks back when I gave my take on the game key cards, which, to be honest, I'm not a fan of. I think third-party companies and indie developers and even small little studios will take complete advantage of this and exploit it to get more money out of Nintendo Switch 2 gamers by having games that are game key cards and not actually on the cartridge like a game should be. Remember in the 90s when our games were actually fully on the cart? Yeah, that's a thing of the past now, guys, because digital age, right? Well, anyways, these leaked details confirm it. There's just a 64 gigabyte Switch cartridge for the Switch 2. So if a game is smaller than that, and like I said, a lot of them are, it's either going to be a digital only game or it's getting slapped onto a digital key card that acts more like a download license than a real game cartridge. And I remember the video I made earlier this last month, people were like, this isn't anything new. Companies have been doing this forever. Yes and no. Okay, this is, in fact, essentially this is DRM, but it's done in a different way that we haven't seen yet. I feel that this is going to set a precedent for physical media going away. Okay, I would rather get a digital download than a game key card, if that makes any sense. So, I know this raises a ton of questions, like, for once, why does a tiny 4 gigabyte game like Puyo Puyo Tetris 2’s need to be on a digital key instead of a real cartridge? Well, it's not like it doesn't fit, but here's the thing, the 64 gigabyte cartridges cost money. Real money. Mucho dinero. Blu-rays cost pennies. These proprietary cartridges are special, that are only for the Nintendo Switch 2 and the Switch 1. They're rumored to be $16 each. They're going to cost developers $16 each. And that's not even including the packaging. That's not including the artwork, like a Switch box, the package itself, the packaging, everything about it. The plastic case, you name it. So if you're trying to sell a game for, let's say, $30, $40 and you're a small indie studio, are you really going to eat a good chunk of your profit just to make it physical? Are you really going to be like, hey, you know what? We really need a physical game. No, at that point, you're going to try to work around the system, which essentially that's the game key cards are going download only. And in a way, I kind of feel the game key cards, in my opinion, are a ripoff and kind of a turnoff. Especially the selection of games that we're getting, I could get those on better consoles for less price. Why am I going to pay a Switch 2 tax for Street Fighter 6 if I played that already, going on, is that 2 years almost? I don't know. I just don't like it. I really don't like it. So that's why more and more games, even these smaller ones, right, are ditching the physical route. This is ushering in the digital age, like I said in the previous video. And the details in this actual article that talk about Arc System Works and everything like that says the biggest problems facing the Switch 2 at this point are its approach to third-party physical games, that many of them are available on the key cards, right? Arc System Works hack seemingly confirms why the Switch 2 has so many game key releases, and there was this tweet that came out talking about it. Okay? And it's a good read, but I really just wanted to give my take because this sucks, okay? The old Switch had options. The Switch OG, we had 4 gigabyte cards, 8 gigabyte cards, 16 gigabyte cards, 32 gigabyte cards, but for whatever reason, Nintendo wants to do Nintendo things and make it where we only have 64 gigabyte cards for the Switch 2. Switch OG allowed it to, so devs could basically pick what made the most sense for their company, what made the most sense for the bottom dollar. As of right now, we think that it's just going to be 64 gigabytes, which is what it's looking like. Will Nintendo maybe change it? Hope so. I hope so. Right now, it's all or nothing, though. Like I said, it's a 64 gigabyte big boy or it's digital. And at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if we just see digital-only titles and not even game key cards. And that sucks for collectors, to be quite honest. If you're someone who likes having a shelf full of these boxes, like I said, this move makes that future look a lot more bleak. It's going to be either you're paying more for the privilege of having the plastic, right? Or you're stuck with a download code and fake physical editions that don't even actually store the game. You know, those kind that say download code only that you see at Walmart. If you go to the Switch OG section, you'll see games like Mario Rabbids and certain other ones on the Switch. It literally will have a white banner that says download code only. So what's the point of even having a box? Just to have an empty plastic box? It doesn't make sense. All right, I get it. Again, some of you are willing to pay more for physical, but I'm not convinced the majority of people will. People will complain about these $80 price tags that Mario Kart World have already. Are you really going to fork over more dinero just to have a cartridge that will never resell? A game key card that won't resell as much as an actual one, especially when third-party games are cheaper digitally or on other consoles. Like I said, the same games that we're paying a premium price for the Switch 2, like Cyberpunk and Street Fighter 6, we can get on PC cheaper. We can get on Xbox and PlayStation cheaper. Why are we spending so much money for all of these games on the Switch 2? Cyberpunk is a bad example because that's actually on the cartridge, but Street Fighter 6, for example, it's not all on the cartridge. So personally, I want to go where the savings are, all right? I used to love physical media. I was into it. I mean, I got all these Switch OG games just right here. Like, literally, I got NES games, you name it. I used to love physical media. I still think it has value if you plan to sell, trade, collect. But I've also made peace with digital, right? There's less clutter. There's more convenience. And if it means that I don't have to pay extra for a game, a Switch tax, like I say, that I'll just finish once and never ever touch again, and it just stays on my shelf, sign me up. I'm looking at games a lot differently in this digital age. And sure, physical this, guess what? They're pushing it out. They're playing games, okay? The best way to keep physical is to not support game key cards, all right? If you buy these game key cards, Nintendo's going to make it that way. Third-party companies are going to make it that way. We're not going to have real physical games that have the full game on cart if these games do better. And then more companies are going to be like, oh, this is a cheaper way to make this stuff. And then it's just going to be that cycle, all right? So, yeah, I think this isn't just about format options, all right? It's about how Nintendo might be nudging the industry further into that digital-only future that we've been talking about. I remember when the Wii came out, we were starting to talk about that stuff, right? It's happening. It's slowly, quietly happening, but it's definitely happening. So let me know what you guys think about this with the Arc Systems Works stuff. I mean, seeing all these leaks that are coming out here, I mean, these leaks from Arc System Works literally confirm that there's 3 formats for developers to make their games on the Switch 2. Digital release, 64 gigabyte, or this game card crap. And this indicates that Nintendo is only offering these 3 formats instead of a smaller cartridge because they want to enforce it on us, guys. And if you look at the launch library of the Switch 2, it's mostly game keys because it's the cheaper option for a physical media alternative. And I don't like that. I do not like that. So let me know your thoughts, guys. Are you still ride or die for physical? Or are you already kind of like, hey, I'm okay with the game key cards and digital and all of this? Let me know your thoughts down below, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to hit that subscription button.